Hello, Chelosiums. Chelosiums. How y'all doing today? Chelosiums. I want to give, this is an impromptu. Hey, boss, let me go ahead and say a couple of hellos. First and foremost, I always got to shout out the mod extraordinaire, RM. She's always on her thing, okay? Where you been, lady? Where you been? All right. Hit the like button on your way in. Hey, Jeff, thanks for coming through. Boss Lady Iris, look, this is going to be a light-hearted chit chat, if you will. I'm waiting for my fruit to hopefully grace us because here's the thing. I asked my fruit, that would be my daughter for y'all new to my channel. I call her my fruit because the Bible says, I'm paraphrasing, you will know them by their fruit. Okay? And I call her my fruit because of all the things I've done in my life. She is by far my greatest accomplishment. My greatest. Good evening. Same thing. I know what you meant. Just greetings, boss lady. So she is my fruit. Now, I had already asked her earlier today if she would join me because I told her what I want to do and she said that she would. But because my fruit is not only grown, she married and she's a full mother of a year now. When I got the phone call a few minutes ago that she may or may not be able to join me because duty calls, what was I gonna say? But okay. And the reason why I say that because there was a time where my mother's at. Hey Bishop, where my mother's at? We figured that, well, you said you was gonna come. We can't do that no more when they grown. No, can't. Even if we want to. Thank you, RM, for putting my fruits channel with she does with my son in love, call it Couple Sips. So the reason why I want to do this, it just literally came to me earlier today because I go to YouTube and I see what's on my feed. And a couple of 5-minute clips came up about children, about mothers and about children. And I started thinking, wow, I remember what it was like to go through that. Oh, and here she is, my fruit. My fruit.
Hey, what's up, ma?
My fruit.
What's going on?
Ain't nothing to it the way you do
Oh
it.
my goodness.
I was telling them what inspired me to do this is that this morning I looked up and there was a couple of clips on my feed about children and parents and stuff like that, and I thought about what I went through when you were little, and now that you are a full-on parent yourself,
Mm-hmm.
I said this will be great for you to react to this because you haven't seen it, you don't know what I'm gonna show, and to get your take on it because growing up with me as your mother, you saw me act a fool and didn't
On a
understand.
regular. Yep.
You saw me act a fool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, RM said Daddy sounds like my fruit over it. You saw me act a fool on a regular, and sometimes you thought I was like doing too much, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
But now you're a mother.
Oh, well, there's a reason the show gonna be homeschooled. Mm-mm. I ain't
You're a
got
mother.
time because I'm crazy.
So, and this is a little bit more nostalgic for me because this week is what?
On my birthday week.
Yes.
Oh, right. Forgot.
And, it is your birthday week. And listen to me, peoples. Men and women, as proud as you are as a parent, there is absolutely nothing that takes you to a level that when your child has a child. I didn't know. I heard about it. I knew how my grandfather acted with me. I knew how my mom acted with her first. But there's absolutely nothing that sends your heart over the moon as to when your child has a child. That is when you truly can see what it really means to be, what legacy really means, what your fruit really means. So I've been feeling a little bit nostalgic. I always get around, around this time, I always, because no matter how grown she gets, she's always my little person. I can't say her nickname because I promised I won't do that anymore
Mm-hmm.
in public.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Tan, this is Dan, this is Mike.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Okay, Mike, you got to do a better picture than that. Stop it.
He gangsta all day.
Ain't he? Okay, so I know you don't have a lot of time, but I was saying
Mm-hmm.
before you came to the show, out of everything that I have done in my life, you are by far my greatest inspiration, my greatest accomplishment. You are the one that grew me real. You're the one that made me put my grown woman underwear on to be responsible. You did it.
Oh my,
You did it.
that's a lot.
Because if having a child doesn't make you step your game up, you're a sorry individual.
Well, there's no lies there.
And you made me step my game up. You already know the mistakes. We ain't gonna talk about that right now. But so without further ado, I'm gonna share my screen because I'll need to get her response to these videos. These are a couple of clips, but I wanted to get her full unadulterated response. Hold on a second. To this. Okay. So the first clip we're going to watch is about a 6-minute clip. You see, it says, "Woman mocks mom on flight, has no idea who she is."
Oh
Okay.
Lord.
Fair use. This is for entertainment and educational and commentary purposes only. So let's get into it. Let me make sure I got my stuff. Okay. Let's go. Hmm.
Woman mocks mom on flight.
Can you hear
Has
that?
no idea who she
Mm-hmm.
is. She was too tame, sighing, and scooting to the far edge of her seat. Amy couldn't relax. She obviously had a problem with Amy. Amy decided to bite. Is something bothering you? Amy asked. That question was all the woman needed to unleash her wrath of hell on Amy. There was no going back now. Things took a personal and ugly turn. Amy Marie was flying from Chicago to Tennessee with her young daughter when she experienced an encounter that left her shaking. As a single, working mom, Amy had her work cut out for her. This is why she desperately looked forward to the long weekend ahead with her family. Amy was a strong-willed and assertive woman. It was a trait that suited her line of work. Usually, it was hard to crack her, but tiredness does strange things to a person. She had just come off a grueling couple of weeks of intense shifts and long nights with her 2-year-old daughter, Alyssa. Amy needed sleep and a big warm.
Okay, so right now, Danielle, what do you think when it says she's come off some long shifts? What do you think that she's doing
I
as a
don't know.
profession? Okay.
Being a doctor, nurse, something.
Okay. Yeah. But long shifts, she said, baby sick. Where did that sound familiar to you yet?
All I hear is stress. That's it. Stress and exhaustion.
That is a better pick, Tan. Thank you. Come on now.
What's a better pick?
However, that was
Of him, he changed his avatar pick.
Oh yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
Okay.
definitely not what she'd find on this flight. She made her way down the aisle with her bags and daughter in hand, shuffling past passengers until she found her seat. She moved into the empty 3-seat row and settled her daughter into the window seat. She made herself comfortable in the middle seat, hoping that no one would sit on the aisle seat beside her. However, her wish was far-fetched. Amy's welcoming smile met a sigh of annoyance as the middle-aged woman placed her bags overhead and took her seat beside her. Amy instantly knew that this was no passenger match made in heaven. But she had no idea just how disgruntled this woman was to be seating beside her. Soon, she was about to find out just how much. It was obvious to Amy that something was bothering the woman beside her. At first, she thought it was because of Alyssa. She knew some people weren't pleased to see a 2-year-old traveling beside them. But that wasn't the problem.
I remember traveling with her as a 2-year-old. We're going to pin that for now. Let's continue.
No, what was bothering this woman was something far more personal. After numerous two-tane sighs and scooting to the far edge of her seat, Amy couldn't relax. She decided to ask the rude woman if anything was bothering her. Yes, the woman replied. As a matter of fact, something is bothering me. When was the last time you showered and washed your clothes? She spat. Amy dropped her jaw in disbelief. But she wasn't the only one.
Stop right there. Did you hear that, Danielle?
This woman spit in her face.
She said, when's the last time you showered or took a bath or washed your clothes?
That's not rude at all.
Yeah. Let's keep going.
Unknowingly to Amy or the woman, a man sitting behind her overheard her remark and quickly grabbed out his phone to record what followed. Excuse me, Amy said. The woman then continued to comment on her top and leggings, which had a milk stain on them. Amy looked down, completely forgetting about the stain on her clothes from feeding her daughter earlier while rushing to make their flight in time. Then the rude woman told her that she stinks of baby milk. Amy sniffed her top. She couldn't change as she already put her luggage of clothes in the undercarriage, but she spritzed herself with perfume in the bathroom before she boarded the flight. It didn't smell that bad. But the woman was relentless. I know you have a child, but there are a lot of women out there doing better than you. Now, it went from bad to worse. Maybe it was the tiredness or maybe it was the sudden uncalled for personal attack. Either way, Amy couldn't hold it together. She often questioned herself as a mother. She hated the...
Does that ever happen?
What do you mean?
Does anybody ever question? Has anyone ever questioned themselves as a mother? Especially when you got a little one.
Well, yeah.
I know I did. Let's keep going.
Fact that she had to work so much. Maybe if she didn't, she'd be more put together. She could have told the woman who she really was to set her straight, but she didn't. Instead, she became upset, but someone else did too. As Amy turned her head away from the woman to gather her thoughts, she felt a tap on her shoulder. She turned to see a big man standing over her. Ma'am, is this woman bothering you? No, it's okay, Amy said. He pressed her again. Ma'am, he said. I heard everything, and I have it all on tape. I'm off duty right now, but I'm a cop and I hate to see anyone get bullied like this. I can give her a warning right now. But what Amy said next shocked everyone. Amy watched as the woman beside her began to grow nervous as the man behind them revealed his identity.
How about that?
She couldn't wait to do the same. So she turned to the man and smiled. Then she turned to the woman and looked her dead in the eyes and said, Funny thing, I'm a cop too. Startled, the woman withdrew her eye contact as Amy then thanked the man behind her. But it wasn't over yet. Amy's daughter Alyssa had been extremely well behaved the entire journey. She managed to keep herself entertained with her dolls while her mom began to teach this woman a lesson. Do you have kids? She asked the woman. No, the woman said. She was more reserved now. Knowing that Amy had the law on her side took her down a peg or two. It was the perfect time for Amy to get her point across. Amy began to explain why she didn't look or smell like dandelions and daisies. She gently reminded the woman to be more considerate about another person's life and circumstances before she unleashes her cruel and judgmental words. Raising kids is tough. There'll be good days and there'll be bad days, and this woman would do good to remember that. After her story was shared online by an onlooker, People poured in to offer their support to Amy and thank her for her service as well as condemning the rude woman. Women are so often judged harshly on their parenting skills, especially when they are working, single moms. It's no wonder Amy broke down. It's a tough world out there, so let's give all moms the appreciation they deserve.
All right. What are your thoughts, Danielle?
She better than me. That's all I can say. She would have got checked in the most professional way. I would have got her off the flight too. Mm-mm.
Well, I saw this and it made me think about any parents in the chat been let's focus on the moms, particularly if there have been any single moms out there flying with toddlers. How many want to sit next to when y'all, let's be honest, when y'all see somebody coming on with a baby or a toddler, how many are you hoping that they don't sit next to you? I'll wait.
Oh, actually, I don't. I actually never did. I understood how hard parenting was. So would I be a little bit possibly annoyed if I saw a baby like, oh crap, I'm probably gonna have a crying baby today. But I was never the type of person that was like that because I get it's like they're freaking kids, man. Like you can't control your kids. If your kid decides I'm gonna scream and cry because my ear popped and it scared me for the next 2 hours, there's nothing you can do. Like I remember, I think I was single still, and I was on the flight. I was going to somewhere, maybe California, I don't know. And there was this mom, and she had a toddler with her. My God, I could see the stress on this woman's face. I could just see it. Like I felt so bad for her because she had this huge duffel bag full of toys and stuff for the kid, then her own big bag with a carry-on, then a purse, while trying to wrangle this little boy who maybe no more than 3. And I was just like, my God, like I had already sat down, so I couldn't get up and help her. But I was just like, it's this kind of stuff where people just have no empathy and no grace because it's
Right.
like, dude, she's probably exhausted, freaking exhausted. And instead of people helping, offering to help with anything she needs, people just look at her and judge her. Now, thankfully, I think she sat next to a guy or something, and they
Mhm.
seemed really nice. They, like said hi to the little boy, so it wasn't anything where it was rude. But it's like I think where people may be insensitive is if you're not trying to parent, because that does piss me off. Like if you see your kid is screaming, tugging at your shirt, and you ain't and you're completely ignoring the kid, now that does piss me off, because they're crying because they're trying to get your attention and your phone is more important. But if you're literally doing everything you can to console the baby, feed the baby, try to rock the baby, and it's just inconsolable, then I mean, you're doing what you can do. We're all not gonna have the perfect experience on a flight with kids. Like I saw on TikTok, God help this family. They had because they recorded their journey of getting their 3 kids ready to go on a flight to the Maldives.
What?
My lord, it was so stressed out. I was stressed for them, and I just watched the video because they had a toddler who was maybe 3 or 4, or maybe like 3, 3.5, and then 2 twin boys under 2.
Jesus.
And I said, my God, I said, I don't know. Why did y'all do this to yourself? Why did y'all do this to yourself? Like they recorded, they woke up from the hotel, first baby threw up, then the other 2 threw up because the first one threw up. They had to change the clothes. Then by the time they got through the check, TSA pre-check, then they had to go get something to eat. One fell out and went to sleep in the stroller. The other one fell asleep on the suitcase. Had to pick him up, carry him. I'm like, y'all ain't even made it into the flight yet. And then what made it worse is their flight got delayed 2 hours with them sitting on the plane.
Oh, Jesus.
And I said, "Oh no!"
Make it stop. Look,
I said,
RM
"Just quit, just quit."
RM put, look it, the next Queen of England, Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge, couldn't contain her 4-year-old during the Jubilee. So motherhood is real, y'all. Okay? And they got nannies and everything.
Yeah, man. It's just kids are kids. Like I just understand that. Even when that's why I didn't want kids for a while, because I'm like, look, I see what these mothers go through. It's a lot. It's a lot. I'm like, I ain't trying to just sign up for that all willy nilly. Like, oh
And,
yeah, it's whatever, whatever.
and shout out to Southwest Airlines. Why, you ask? Because in as much as some things have changed, some things have stayed the same, but what has definitely changed, you do not have the kind of empathy, compassion these days that had when I was traveling. Because when she was a toddler, I will never forget. And that story that we just saw really resonated with me because, again, as a single mom, you think about how your life changes while you're pregnant, but you never consider how it's going to change after the child gets here. You never, ever, 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 ever. So trying to get to the flight, going from Oklahoma to California, I think I was taking you to your dad, and again, you're a toddler. You restless and you want to move around, and I'm trying to do all this kind of stuff. The next thing I know, the flight attendant on the plane asked me, because you were starting to get a little antsy and stuff like that, asked me if she could take you. So I'm like, I mean, we were in the air, so where's she gonna take you to? So she said, "Do you mind if I take her? Help?" And I said, "No, no problem." Do you remember the story? Didn't you have me telling you the story?
Yeah, I do. Because
Okay.
that's why I fly Southwest now. Because when I gotta bring my child on the flight, I'm like, I hope they still nice.
Next thing I know, she had my kid for a while, and it was getting toward the end where they were coming through, picking up the cups and everything from the passengers. She had put a little flight attendant badge pin on her. She's a toddler now, and having Danielle walk through the carrot flight, taking helping her pick up the cans and stuff like that, and that was the sweetest thing because
Oh, I could imagine. I'm sure I was having a great time. Like, ooh, I want to help.
she saw this mom stressed.
Yeah.
She saw this mom stressed. She took my baby. Next thing I know, she done put a little pin on her, and she helping the flight attendant, got one end of the trash can. The flight attendant got the other end of the little trash bag, and Danielle's going through the aisle helping her pick up the cups. The trash. I just start crying.
I'm sure I
Okay,
wore you out. I'm sure.
you know. I mean, but that was the kindest thing. And I don't think so. Shout out to Southwest Airlines because that was in 1990 something. So shout out to them. But that's a memory. You understand me? That's a memory. Okay, so we done chopped it up. Now this is where it's about to get the peanut is
Mm.
about to get chewy with this one. Let's check
Oh
it out.
Lord, my you and these sayings.
The peanut is about to get chewy with this one right here. Okay, let's check it out. Daughter suddenly hates school. Dad plants hidden camera in her hair. Buckle up. The peanut's about to get chewy. Let's check it out.
Daughter suddenly hates school. Dad plants hidden camera in her hair. It shattered his heart into a million pieces as he held his sobbing daughter in his arms. Through uncontrollable tears, she begged, "Please, Daddy, I don't want to go." What made the situation all the more unbearable was that she wouldn't tell him why. This had to stop. He had to find out why this was happening every single day. The first day of kindergarten had been very emotional for the entire Valerio family, but their daughter hopped on the bus with a huge smile and returned home with plenty of enthusiastic stories.
Stop right there. You heard him say kindergarten, right?
Yeah, Mom, why play the video? I'm trying to get to the story.
I know, but I want you kindergarten. He said it was an emotional time for the Valerio family because I remember when I dropped you off in kindergarten, I cried like a fool, and I was looking through the window after I dropped you off. Okay, let's go.
A creative streak bloomed and every day was a new adventure. But when they transferred her to Spring Hill, things changed. What started as a bright, beaming grin quickly turned into long stretches of silence and one-word answers or shrugs when they asked how her day went. Tomas and his wife exchanged worried looks over dinner. Adjusting to a new school could be difficult, but if she wouldn't talk, how they couldn't help her. Maybe it was a bully. Perhaps the teaching methods were different and she was struggling. Tomas picked up the phone and called the school. He couldn't wait any longer. However, when he finally got answers, something didn't add up. Every part of him still felt something was very off. What was the school's reason? They said that their little girl was having trouble adjusting to her teacher, Mrs. Duncan. The woman had a fairly powerful voice, so it could carry over the whole classroom of chatting children. It would sometimes surprise the kids, but they would get used to it. According to them, she just needed time. Both parents weren't buying it. Tomas watched as his daughter degraded into a shell of a girl, beaten down and hating her days. It got so bad that she started to ask to skip school. Then the asking became begging, which turned into tear-filled meltdowns.
What?
Tomas held his daughter in his big arms and tried to hold back his own tears. This had to stop. But what could he do? The school principal wasn't helping at all, and any request to watch the woman would only result in the teacher being on whatever best behavior would placate them. No, he needed to take direct action. He picked up the phone and called the police station. He wouldn't give them the details just yet, but he got enough answers to know if he could move forward with his plan. The next day, as they were getting their daughter ready, he pulled out a small recording device and secretly hid it in her hair under a big white bow. They were going to hear exactly what went on with Mrs. Duncan. What they didn't do was tell their daughter. The last thing they wanted was more stress piled on the girl's already heavy day. Tomas waited impatiently for 3 p.m. to come so he could get answers. As soon as she walked through the door, his wife gave her a huge hug and he removed the device and plugged it in. What he heard made him stick to his stomach. The teacher wasn't just loud, she was a bully. She screamed most of the time and regularly belittled the students. No, obviously you don't understand it. Zip it, are you deaf? That's common sense. Both parents turned pale, then they turned red with rage. It was time for the next step. No, they weren't going to the teacher or principal. They would go directly to the school board. After all, the headmaster's attitude towards the situation was that they were sheltering their daughter too much, and the girl just needed to toughen up. They stood before the board and presented their case. What happened next, the Valerio family couldn't believe. The final decision was to discipline the teacher and move their child to another classroom. But what about the other kids? And if a teacher had been a 13-year bully, one slap on the wrist would change anything. No, they wanted her out of the classroom. Tomas gripped his phone tight as the school board said the recordings were inadmissible because it went against their policies and rules. The cops told him they should have given more details beforehand, but now they couldn't help. No one would do anything. Had the world gone crazy?
Yes.
However, word had spread around the school and to other parents. Next was to start a petition to have the teacher fired, or, at minimum, removed from any front-facing positions around children. The page ended up with over 2,000 signatures. Was it going to be enough? Sadly, the school board stayed firm in their position. They weren't interested in any arguments of educator responsibilities and adaptation to students' needs. Kindergarten and early grades are huge in the formation of kids' socialization skills, problem solving, and so many other facets of their lives. Mrs. Duncan was failing as a teacher. Tomas argued there was being loud, but being loud with the right tone. Kindergarten should be a place of fun and excitement as well as a safe space to make mistakes and learn from them, and not be punished for them. The end result wasn't what they hoped for, but it was better than nothing. First, their daughter was transferred to a new classroom, and the change was almost immediate. The bright smile returned and Tomas could finally breathe easily again. The creative streak returned and many conversations were full of joy. As for Mrs. Duncan, she gave every manner of excuse, including that she was from New York and had always done things that way when she taught there, including word choices of "Are you deaf?" which the administration did say they were not happy with. Her reprimand wasn't much either. The punishment was just a reminder to keep her loudness down a bit and watch her tone. Some parents have come to the woman's defense, but there are at least 2,000 who disagreed with the woman's sense of compassion, patience, and handling of more delicate kids. The Valerio family also has their own updates. Tomas looks at the ordeal as something that has made their family stronger. Their children know their parents will always be there for them and fight for them. They've also found better ways to communicate about what's happening at school. Their daughter is now happy, and that's all they want. Woman mocks mom on...
Okay.
Daughter suddenly hates school. Dad plants hidden camera.
So, your thoughts?
Oh, that's why I'm homeschooling. I'm not dealing with this.
You going to homeschool all the way up to high school?
I absolutely will if I have to. I don't like school to begin with. I think it's a It's a very corrupt process. And it's not, I don't blame the teachers because the teachers genuinely do care about the kids, most of them. I blame the lack of creativity. I blame the lack of, freedom to be different because everything has to be very systematic. And I blame the peer pressure of having to fit into a classroom for survival needs solely. And that's what I don't agree with. I don't want my daughter to have to adapt and morph her personality to fit the room she's in. I want her personality to be big and confident enough to stand on her own 2 feet. And she can't do that at 4. She can maybe do it at 12, 13, but she cannot stand up to a big adult at 4.
Nor should she
Because
have to.
nor should she have to. So I'm like, I'm not going to put my child in that, especially when I don't have to, because it's just, I don't have time. I don't have time to sit there and have to bring my work laptop to the school every day to make sure ain't nobody treating my kid improperly or getting away with stuff. Because again, my child is a beautiful child. I don't need no teacher thinks she can cut her hair because it's too, doesn't conform to what their society deems as beauty. I don't have time for any of that,
Well,
nor
here's
the
the thing
patience.
also, too, to that point, in many cases, okay, let me read a couple of comments first. Eugene, still, as a teacher, there are standards that we have to keep. My state's code of ethics for teachers spell it out. I think about these things every day from the first year, from my first year in education. And here's the challenge, though. There are many people who go into education because, like, for instance, like military. You ain't going into the military because you're gonna think you're gonna make a lot of money. It's because you have for whatever it may be, a personal need or your desire to serve. Either way. Same thing with teachers. If you go into education, you're not going in because you think you're going to make a lot of money. That's just a non-starter. You're going in either for your love of children or your desire to make a difference. But the problem becomes now, in my opinion, like Danielle just said, it's everything is standardized. It wasn't like that when I was growing up. You could teachers could have the freedom to teach however they felt to get to the children to have them learn. I mean, really learn, not just checking the block.
Yeah,
Because
that's
I
all it
still
is now.
because some of the teachers that I had in high school that are still living think, I mean, we're actually Facebook friends now. I didn't know they were that much close to my age. But again, the point is they allowed us and they empowered us to be able to think, problem solve, all those kinds of things that doesn't happen anymore. But let me ask you this, Danielle. So, from the perspective of when you heard this story, you've heard the story, does it remind you of anything?
Oh, when you showed out at my 7th grade math class.
I didn't show out.
I mean, a little bit. And it wasn't unjustified though. It wasn't unjustified. Cause this teacher was crazy, bro. Like, cause for you, those of y'all who don't know me, I'm a very good math student. Always have been. Um, and I was staying with my dad at the time in 7th grade, and I was failing math. And my parents both knew this isn't possible. She doesn't fail math. If it was reading, science, possibly. But math, I do that stuff in my sleep. And for me to be getting a D in math, it was like, what is happening? Something's wrong. So again, my dad was living in California. My mom was living in Virginia. She flew from Virginia to California for a parent teacher conference. She was playing no games. And they got me transferred out of that class like immediately. And my grade went from a D to a B within like a month and a half. But
So,
that's kind of stuff.
and exactly, but and again, here's the thing, parents, and you got to know your kid.
Yeah, but this is the thing though, Ma, because I follow. I don't. You're not on TikTok, so you don't know who I be following. But there's this woman on TikTok. She got 9 kids, right?
Jesus.
She homeschool all of them,
Hmm.
all of them. And what she said a lot of good things about public school versus homeschool that are actually not there. I could see it being a good point because what she was saying is because a lot of people ask her about, well, how do your kids, are they awkward around other kids? Like, how are they? Because they're not in. school with other kids. And she was like, when you really think about it as a society, there's only one time in our life where we were around people who are all the same age as us, and that's school. That's not normal. You don't go to a job and everybody's your same age. You don't go to a concert and everybody's your same age. Shoot, you don't go to a park and everybody's your same age. But they make you think that, oh, you have to have your kids in the same age group for them to be social. No, if anything, it peer pressures them to make friends in a group of 30 kids who they may not even like. But because they have no other choice and they're stuck in this classroom for 8 hours a day, they got to make do with what they got. Versus homeschool kids, when you have co-ops and groups, they get to choose what kid they want to talk to or not. So it actually forms a stronger bond and confidence in their own discernment to make friends. And so that's why I feel like a lot of stuff with public school is not that it's horrible, because there is, private schools that have more freedom and things like that. But once the standard testing became a thing, they took all freedom out of curriculum that homeschooling does have freedom in. Because the thing with homeschooling is it's not that you don't have to meet the same metrics, but how you do it is completely your choice. So like for, my daughter, if I have to teach her spelling, multiple, addition by the end of the year, shoot, if she, masters that in 3 months, great. We can spend the rest of the time going to the aquarium. Like, there's no like, oh, I have to do this every single day for 6 hours a day. It's like, however we get it done is however we get it done. And that's what they took away from school. It took away fun. It took away free time, and it's all structured and bullet points, and it's just, I don't think it's fun anymore. And I'm like, I don't feel like having my child in that if I don't have to, like, especially if I have a career where I do now, where I can literally work wherever I feel like it. I'm like, I'll just keep her at home.
Well, and to that point, going back to what you said, and that's a very good point. In addition to that, I think it's still very important that as parents, you know your children. And when you know your children, you know their strengths, you know their weaknesses. So again, because I knew my daughter's strengths and weaknesses, I knew that in as much as she could do, she could do reading, she could do science, even though she didn't like it. I knew that she could do it. But so if they would have told me that she may have been struggling in those two areas, I would have given it a little bit more consideration, because I knew in as much as she could do it, she didn't like it. But when they said math, I knew without a shadow of doubt there was something wrong there, because, like she just said, she could do that in her sleep. And for them to try to tell us, we knew that something was wrong. So again, you have to know your child to know, okay, so, kind of like with the little kindergarten girl, they saw a change in their child's behavior, her whole countenance, you know. So to that point, yeah, I got on a plane. I went down there and I ripped some asses. Excuse me.
But and low key, from what I remember, that teacher was pretty racist. Like, she really shouldn't have been teaching a school full of minority kids. She really shouldn't have. And that's now that is where I do say that's the school board or the principal's fault, because it's like every one of these students are struggling in this class, every single one. Okay, now something, the math ain't mathing, as they say on TikTok. So
And check it. And peep game on this. She knew something was, because why? She didn't show up for the teacher parent conference.
oh, she did.
No, she did not.
Who did y'all meet with then?
I met with the principal
Oh,
and the counselor, because I was
oh,
ready. I was ready.
I know you were. You was hot. You was hot. But again, it's just those kind of things. Like I said, because I see how my child is now, and I'm just like, I just don't really see her being in school. I just don't, especially for the way me and Kiva want to live our lives. Like, we want to travel and be in another state for a month at a time. You can't do that in regular school. They make her repeat the grade, you know? And I'm just like, yeah, because I mean, again, we can talk about school and teachers all day, because all the stuff I'm seeing now is really sad, quite frankly.
And don't get me wrong, because Danielle was in some private schools, because again, we lived all over the country, me being in the military, but depending on the school system, if the school district was a good school, we went to a private school. But if it wasn't, I put her in private school. But I'm very fortunate. For the most part, we had good teachers. But I think about when I saw these things, these videos, being a parent is not easy. It is not, I'm so fortunate and blessed that my daughter and her husband, that they are partners in love, marriage, and parenting. Because being a parent is difficult when you have two people. So it's definitely difficult if you got one. But I did what I needed to do to the best of my ability to make sure that she was taken care of. But it is a sacrifice, like the first video, feeling and questioning yourself as a parent when you have to work all the time. But you have to work all the time to be able to provide the life you want for your child. But there is a sacrifice. Your
Yeah.
thoughts, Danielle?
Oh well, yeah. Like I said, that's why I'll definitely say if there's any generation that is the most fortunate in the sense of opportunities, it's mine and Gen Z, because working from home didn't exist when I was coming up. Shoot, internet barely existed.
Right.
So it's like now we have the freedom to choose homeschool, choose to live abroad, choose to live where we want to live for half the year, the other half, because of the career of options now. So now you can just have more control of what your child is dealing with than when you had when I was coming up.
And take me with you as an additional teacher. Hello?
Sorry,
Okay.
she was asking me something. I don't know about that teacher part though. You're gonna have to have a different level of patience because your grandchild is stubborn. 'Cause you ain't see her today. We was trying to do potty time. She legit said not today. I'm like, what you mean not today? Cause she was like, cause my cousin here, she helped me with potty training. She legit, we would hold her hand to go to the bathroom, and she would legit turn around. She's like, nope, not today. I said, ma'am, I'm gonna need you to not do this today. And she legit refused. She said, I'm gonna go in my diaper today. I'm not doing this
Oh,
potty today. And I'm like, well, that's a bet. All right then. You do what you want. I guess when you pop in.
we haven't done a lady's legacy in a while. And like I said, watching these two videos that popped up on my feed and knowing that you are taking, be a year older, I'm feeling kind of, emotional. I get emotional around your birthday every year because I'm like, my baby, she ain't no baby. But so now in your full year as a mom, and I just wanted to get your insight on what did you think about these things as a mom and seeing yourself, because again, I acted plenty of fools over the years when you was growing up, right up until you're eight, right up until the time you turn 18. If I had to get in somebody's ass behind my child, I
You
would.
still do it now.
What?
You heard what I said? You still try to do it now. I gotta remind you that Kevon got it.
Oh well.
Yeah. Don't get all quiet now. You do it.
When have I done that
With my
lately?
job.
I
Uh-huh.
didn't.
Nope. Yep.
I just gave you
Yes.
some advice.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. No, you said, do I need to come up there and call them?
That was a few years ago, Danny.
Few years, meaning past 18. They ain't been 10 years. Then
Oh.
probably maybe 3 or 4 years ago. So nice try. You tried. No, it's definitely past 18. Definitely. But again, I mean, I get it. I'm a mom. I ain't nobody gonna come against my child. As much as like it's probably the hardest thing it's gonna be for me as a mom is letting her defend herself. I already can see that because for me, I'm ready already, but bust the cap. Hurt some people. Don't hurt my baby.
Somebody said, I'm not gonna say any names, but somebody said they will fight a kid, or they
I
will trip a
will.
kid. They
I
will trip a
will
kid.
with no and a parent.
I'm not saying no names, but somebody I spoke to said, they ain't got no problem tripping a kid.
I don't. I people don't understand, man. I ain't got no problem with it. You want to square up? Let's square up. You want to be grown? I'll show you who grown. You want to talk big? Let's talk big, bro. Like I ain't got time. Shoot, bump that. These kids can catch these hands too. I ain't playing with it. Cause again, I'm not saying that to where like, oh, if a kid has a little attitude, there's one thing, but there are some kids who you can just tell are not being parented. So they think that they can do literally whatever the heck they want. And I'm there to tell them that they can't. I said I'm just not the one. I'm not the one. If it no, there's certain things like you know how with you be ready to go in on places because you gotta buck up. I go the opposite
No.
direction because I don't want to. I really don't. I just avoid those situations as best as I can because I know it's gonna happen. It's not gonna be a good situation for anybody at the end of the day. So I just
Mm.
try to walk away and not be in those circles at all. It's better for everybody.
So, as a new mom, and I said new mom, a mom of a year now, what, because the title I made, I think, I said, Ladies Legacy with TJ and Dani, and I said, I wish the MF would.
Oh wow.
Basically, as it relates to, I wish the MF would concerning my kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, with that title, you wish the MF would do what?
Try me.
As it relates to,
It'd be the last thing you do breathing.
as it relates to who?
My child, don't try me. Don't test me. Don't even make any sudden movements towards my child that I feel are suspicious. It's best for everybody's interest and your sanity and your breathing to not do so. Like I'm one of those people that I don't have to yell at you to threaten you.
Oh, come on now. We're not threatening people.
When I say that, I'm saying don't act like you know how there's some parents who get real big and buck behind their kid. Like, oh yeah, I don't have to yell at you. I just gotta look at you. That's the type of person I am. I don't not behind my kid. I don't like to get hostile, but I will if I have to. I've always been that type of kid. Like when I would fight people in school, it wasn't I didn't have to get really big for you to figure out that I was gonna hit you. Like I just didn't have to do that. I could look at you and you can figure that out. Because I don't get angry like that. So when you see me, like it's like, oh shoot, we done pissed her off. That's how I am behind my kid. It's like I don't get angry very often. I choose to not be. But if it gets taken there behind my child, I don't hesitate. And that's what I mean. So I don't put myself in situations where I could get to that level of anger, i.e., school systems,
Hmm.
because the chances of me being pissed off to that level are a lot more likely than me just homeschooling.
And there is a different, I tell you, I said this before, but there is I can't even put it into words. When you are responsible for another life, it's almost as if that yours doesn't matter anymore. If that makes any sense.
Nah, I'm not to that level.
Well,
It's it's more
it did
so.
for me, and what I meant by that because I had said before, and again, I can back off now because you grown, you married. I would say that for this one, I said because I would point at her. Hey, red lipstick vibes. I would say for this one right here, I will go to jail and I will die. So that's what I mean by that.
Yeah, for
I don't have
when it
to say that
comes to
to her.
her, it's like I guess it's similar because it's like there's nothing that I wouldn't do.
Right.
It's more so like that. It's not a common sense thing. It's an instinct.
Yes.
Very weird because it's like it's just an instinct thing, and you don't get it until you have a kid. You just don't like, or even if you don't have one, if you're raising one, because I don't believe
Okay.
that you only have that kind of connection with children you create. I believe you have that with children that you raise and that you love and that you nurture. And then before you know it, they've become connected to you in a way that's indescribable type of thing, in my personal opinion. Because there's a narrative that I'm happy some people are starting to debunk around childbearing and creating children. That it's like, oh, if you didn't make the child, you can't love them like that because you just love your child instantly. And I'm like, ah, it's not instant for everybody because mine wasn't. But I believe it grows over time. And when it grows to the depth of that, it's the core of you, then they become the core of you. And then that mothering instinct unlocks and it never goes away. That's just how I see it. Because I love now all children. Any child that's under my care, I take care of like they're my own.
And you shouldn't have patience for kids.
I didn't. And I still kind of don't. It depends on the kid. But I won't. It's more so, it's not that even if you irritate me, I will always protect you. You get what I'm saying? Like, even if there's a kid who, like, you driving me nuts, I wouldn't just let you go to the wolves and figure it out. I would still protect you. I would still provide for you. I would still feed you. I would still clothe you. I would still put you to sleep. Even if you irritate the crap out of me. It's a mothering instinct that is beyond just my child. That only really unlocks when you take care of one.
It's funny that you say that, because thinking back on when you were growing up, particularly middle school, maybe that's why our house was the gathering house, because I loved all the kids.
Yeah, because you just it just happens. Like, because shoot, I can't tell you how many times now that I'm a mom, I'd be volunteering people to come bring their kids over here. I'm like, oh, you need a break? Bring your babies over. I'm like, oh, go do a date night. I got the kids. I didn't do that crap before I came mom. I ain't like nobody's kids. I was like, no, get away from me with your children. But now that I got one, it's just, and it's not to say that, oh, I'm trying to take care of like 20 kids forever every day, but it's just the point of like, I'm more welcoming to children. Like, when I see children, I wave, I talk to them. Like, I'm like, hey, or if I see a mom, like, do you need anything? It's a nurturing that gets unlocked when you become a mother. That it's not, now there's some women who do have it before they become a mom. I've seen it. There's like, shoot, there's a friend of mine who watches my daughter who is like, you sure you're not a mom? Because my God, you're nurturing. But that just wasn't unlocked in me until I became a mom.
I just need to hear, for the 15 people that are watching, I need you to go ahead and say it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mom, you are right.
Oh, you want that satisfaction? You're not getting it today. Oh, you was right, Mom. You right.
I was right about what?
I don't know specifically, but I will say overall, I will say motherhood is not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
And I said that you will understand when you have your own, how much of a fool I would be about
Mm-hmm.
certain things when it came to your safety, your education, your image, your how you saw yourself, and how other people saw you, and how the integrity, all those things I would try to tell you, and you think, I know you would be talking about me behind my back, but again, all kids did.
Oh yeah,
So
that's what they do. Because every time you the parent, you always the enemy. I'm just waiting for the day at this point when Michelle, she's gonna be like, "Oh, you're so annoying." Like, I know.
I think yours is going to come sooner.
Probably.
Okay, pound for pound said you better give your mama that satisfaction. Grow her, pound for pound, grow her.
Whatever, man.
So
But
I
not
was
like,
right.
it's not like I said. It's definitely better than I had anticipated. I tend to be very, very pessimistic with stuff, but now I'm more cautiously optimistic. So it's not as, like I said, I know what's coming for me. This potty training alone is a proof of how Nichelle do what she want to do when she want to do it. Like, that's like the epitome of her right now. Like, I'm gonna do it when I feel like it. That is her. It's like, great. That's what I have to look forward to. Joyous. But again, the difference is I understand that, and I have, of course, my husband to help guide me in that, so it doesn't consume me. Because I get what's coming. I know she has to be herself, and I have to be able to adapt.
Red lipstick vibes, check it out. Listen, she said my mom will always say you don't understand it now, but wait until you have your own child. Oh boy, she was right. Check this out. My mom used to say this, and she either, I'm not stupid, I just look this way. She was like,
That's funny.
that's, and she would say, the older you get, the smarter I get. You can use that. And
Mm,
it's the truth. Because I would call my mom, Danielle had to be what? I think it was before you went to middle school. And I'll say, Danielle did this. She said, oh, is that right?
that's funny.
But there is nothing even in a, and so I'm glad, Danielle has to keep me in check because I will, yeah, one thou wow up in here. Because I have to be dialed back, and I'm grateful that she has a good husband because I want to jump both feet in the middle of it because I wish an MF would.
Yeah,
Um,
she's way worse than me. You see a situation, you go forward. I see it, and I go back. I'm like, nope, this is toxic for me. I'm gonna step back. Mm-mm.
And here's the thing. Okay, I embarrassed her
A lot.
recently
I told her she will be uninvited to any other gatherings if she chooses to interact in this kind of behavior.
because in as much as you can act a fool about your child, when you are a grandmother or a grandparent, you're gonna even act more of a fool. I didn't understand it. I acted a fool a couple of weeks ago.
Mm.
Explain the story. You can share the story,
Oh, I'm
Danielle.
gonna say it. So
Go ahead.
yeah, my cousin's graduation. Now, mind you, I'm paint the picture. You understand graduations? Everybody loud, everybody outside, everybody cheering, right? Now, my child is in a very quiet household. Me and my husband do not yell. We barely scream at the TV. The TV's barely up loud like that. We just not in a loud household. She the loudest one in the house because she be screaming at the top of her lungs for fun. So when we take her to this really loud thing, because they got the noisemakers, the horns, the whole shebang, she start crying. Again, me and my husband anticipated that. We knew it was coming. This one on this live wanted to play amnesia like none of this was gonna happen. Like none of this was possible. She over here acting like they doing, noisemakers at the ballet. It's like, Ma, we outside. That's what we supposed to do it at. And she's like, no, no, I ain't got no time. Somebody be coming up here making my baby cry. You mean my child? You know what I meant. I
I
said,
was ready to open up a can
I need you to go sit in timeout because you acting a fool out here in this public space. I said, we are at a graduation. She gonna be all right.
because the more noise, even when the lady girl was singing the national anthem, with each note, my baby was crying louder and louder. I was ready to open up a can. You
And
understand me?
and again, to paint the picture again, my child had missed her nap. She was probably hungry, so she was not fooling with nobody and was over it. Again, what we had expected. This one wanted to act like it was everybody else attacking this child. She the problem, not everybody else. So she had to be talked to. I said, if you do this crap again, you are uninvited to other public gatherings. I'm not doing this with you. Embarrassing me. I have one child, not two. I'm not doing this. And she like, oh, like, yeah. I said, your family ain't gonna tell you the truth. I am. You acted a plumb fool out here, embarrassing me like this.
Well, I felt that they were upsetting my baby, and I didn't appreciate it.
And this, people, is why boundaries are important.
Oh
Because
yeah, I was ready to open up a can. You understand me?
extremely extra,
And
just
the lady looked at me. I'm like,
extremely.
what?
And she over here about to try to fight some people she don't even know over a child who's supposed to cry.
I know I was wrong.
Very,
I was wrong.
very.
But my baby was crying. She was scared. I didn't like it.
Get over it. She gonna cry at everything. She's a child. They cry because they food not hot enough or too cold or not ready in time. She literally cried when she wake up because the food is not in her mouth as soon as she open her eyes.
But my point being is, you lose yourself a little bit when you have a child, and even more so when you have a grandchild because it's even a more of an extension. But there was no excuse.
No,
There was no excuse.
it
I
was
received
absolute
that.
foolishness. Foolishness.
I receive it.
Mm-hmm. You lucky ain't nothing else gathering wise we have going on because you would be questioned about an invite. I would question your invite. I was like, I don't know.
I was ready.
Mm-mm.
I was ready to open a can.
Too ready in a place we don't know nobody, don't know what they got carrying, don't know nothing. You over here trying to start a fight with a complete stranger over a child who's gonna cry at everything.
Yeah, I was wrong. There's there's
Foolishness.
there's no excuse. There was no excuse.
No.
But that's it. I just want, y'all go ahead and join me and wish my fruit a early happy birthday. I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of the young woman that she has become, the wife, the mother, the businesswoman. Um, my fruit. I mean, she has made me, she is proof that I was here. Yeah, she is proof that I was here. So I know you got to wrap up and do your thing. I just want to have a little banter, a little levity, because we haven't been able to do no cocktails, not cocktails, but ladies legacy, because I guess you've been busy doing that mothering and wifing and stuff.
Yeah, this month honestly is like super busy between my birthday, Father's Day, anniversary, well, wedding anniversary, vacation. I barely got time to do homework for my master's degree. So I'm over here like, yeah, I ain't got much time. Now, after this, after June, going into after the Independence Day weekend, I should be free more often. I ain't got nothing else but school at that point. I don't have any other events until October. So I should be more available, possibly, as long as my master's program doesn't start kicking my butt. So, yeah.
Because we've missed you. We haven't done a legacy in over a month.
True, I might be tired. Your child, your grandchild be killing me.
Oh, so she's my child now.
Yeah, she is. The way she has
Oh, but
attitude.
before she said, "You mean my child?" But now she's my child. Okay, so I get
Shoot,
to
she
have
only
her
just
now.
got. You can start this potty training. That's what you can do because she getting on my nerves with this. This potty training, she just real, real disrespectful with her opinions and can't even say a word yet.
But you know what she mean, though.
Exactly, because she be yelling at me.
Mm.
But all right, ma. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get on that. Thank everybody for the happy birthdays. I greatly appreciate it.
Yes. Well, I guess I'll see y'all in a couple of days. I gotta pick her up because I have G my duty.
Oh yeah, sure enough. Well, all right, y'all. It's been good to see y'all. Thanks, ma.
Okay. Talk to you later, Dan.
All right, bye.
Bye. All right. Thank y'all for joining me. This was fun. I just wanted a little levity. What do y'all think of this new hair? Some highlights in here. What do you think? I'm kind of like it. I'm kind of like it. This might be my one of my summer looks. Little highlights, bob cut. I'm kind of liking her. Anyway, all right. So shout out to Micki-Redd. I didn't do my announcements, but shout out to my firstborn nephew, whose a song is on uh, the intro, Lady's Legacy. This is his Good Morning song, Spotify and Apple Music. I'm Spunk Adams on Apple Music and Spotify. Follow him on Instagram, and I am Spunk. He is actually working on a song that is going to be specifically for my intros. I'm so excited. I can't wait. Shout out to my husband, my hardworking trucker man, Mr. Randolph. And to the truckers that traveling the highways and the byways, bringing us our much needed goods, keeping everything moving through this supply chain shortage stuff. So shout out to them and wishing them safe travels over the highways and byways. Again, I forgot to put to say, okay, shout out to Micki-Redd Creates, who's doing my digital marketing, who I have originally dubbed her to be my social media marketing manager to keep me away from places that I don't be needing to go. So, so I'll be listening this time. Shout out to thank you, Lady CC. Thank you. I'm kind of liking her. I am. Y'all already know that. Okay. For real. Okay. So, okay, listen. Shout out to Courtney Michelle. I don't know if she's still in the chat. She has some merch, y'all. She has some merch. Are you still in here, Courtney Michelle? Let me text you. I'm shouting out your merch. She has merch, y'all, and I'm gonna get me some. She has shot glasses, coffee mugs. You know I like a coffee mug because I drink my coffee. She has shot glasses, coffee mugs, shirts, uh, you know, tanks, everything. Shout out to Courtney Michelle. I told her I'm jelly because I want me some. I need to figure out some merch myself. But shout out to Courtney Michelle for her merch. Also, I I have a second channel which is TJ's Music Vault. I haven't been on there for a while, but I'm going to put some more music out there. And what I do on TJ's Music Vault is I share music from the soundtrack of my life from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and some sprinkle of 2000s. And I'm exploring all music, some hip hop, R&B, jazz, some soft rock, maybe even a sprinkling of country. I didn't do a lot of blues. That was just too much for me. But I thank my mom for the gift of music because I'm going down memory lane with this music, and I'm kind of grow y'all to these youngins who don't know nothing about real music. So when y'all trying to court or woo a woman, or even flirt with a man, send them some love songs. Y'all don't know nothing about it. Okay, look, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm working on that. I need to get me some merch. Any artiste out there? If there are any artists, please hit me up in the Instagram. Because, if you can make my vision come to life. If any artists out there, yeah, hashtag grow you real. You know I'm going for it. I'm going for it. So that's all I have. Thank y'all for joining me today. Thank y'all for welcoming my fruit back to join her mama. I've been missing her. Now I've been seeing her because I just took her some macaroni and cheese the other day. Shout out to Tan. I made the macaroni and cheese with Mr. Randolph, and took some portions to her. But I miss her joining me in this platform, so I was happy to have her visit with me for a little bit. So anyway, y'all enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and I'm going to be doing I may be doing another show. It might not be a live, but I'm definitely going to be doing a couple of reactions in the couple of coming days to some things that have been happening in. I think with the young man that lost his life in Atlanta, and also the things that surround that, because I have some personal experience in that type of thing, far as when you let somebody come stay with you. So anyway, until next time, y'all have a great Wednesday. And until next time, ciao for now. Ciao for now. I need to say bye.